What if I told you entire countries are quietly vanishing? Not from war, but from a demographic crisis unfolding right now. Birth rates are plummeting, populations aging, and societies are changing before our eyes. This is a present reality, eroding cultures and economies. We'll explore 10 nations on the brink and what their stories mean for us all. Our journey starts in Japan, a nation of innovation and tradition, now facing a demographic crisis. Japan is aging faster than any country in history. For every 2 people over 65, there's only 1 child under 15. The workforce shrinks, straining pensions and healthcare. Government incentives have struggled to reverse the trend. The land of the rising sun now faces an uncertain twilight. This quiet crisis holds lessons for the world. Next, we head to Bulgaria, a land of ancient history, now facing one of the world's steepest population declines. Since the fall of the Iron Curtain, Bulgaria has been emptying out. The main driver, emigration. EU membership opened borders, and young, educated Bulgarians left for better opportunities. This brain drain strips the country of doctors, engineers, and innovators. Low birth rates compound the crisis, as economic uncertainty discourages families. The result? A dangerously inverted population pyramid, with few young people supporting many retirees. Rural villages are abandoned, cities face labor shortages, and families are scattered across continents. Government efforts to lure back the diaspora and support families struggle against powerful economic forces. Bulgaria's story is a poignant example of how freedom and opportunity can unintentionally hollow out a nation. The paradox, the liberty Bulgarians cherish, is fueling their homeland's slow disappearance. The challenge is urgent and deeply human. Let's continue. Now to Latvia, on the Baltic Sea, a nation whose hard-won independence faces a new, silent threat. Since joining the EU, Latvia has lost many young, skilled citizens to emigration, especially after the 2008 economic crisis. The result? A demographic vacuum, with an aging population and shrinking workforce. Low birth rates and high mortality rates deepen the crisis. In regions like Latvia, depopulation is stark. Empty villages, closed schools, and eroding communities. The government is fighting back with re-emigration plans and family support, but the scale is immense. Latvia's struggle is no longer for independence, but for survival in maternity wards, classrooms, and workplaces. The battle is demographic, and it's for the soul of the nation. The question, can Latvia create reasons for its people to stay and return? The answer will shape its future. Onward. Ukraine's demographic crisis, already severe, has been catastrophically accelerated by war. Before the 2022 invasion, Ukraine faced low birth rates, emigration, and an aging population. War has brought mass casualties and the largest refugee crisis in Europe since WoW. Millions, mostly women and children, have fled, risking the loss of an entire generation. Families are separated, birth rates have plummeted, and trauma will echo for decades. Even if peace comes, demographic recovery will be long and difficult. War magnifies vulnerabilities, low fertility, emigration, and aging. Ukraine's fight is on 2 fronts, military and demographic. Its future depends on bringing people home and rebuilding hope. The stakes are existential. Let's move forward. In Italy, the land of art and la dolce vita, a quiet demographic crisis is unfolding. Italy is now one of the world's oldest countries, with a birth rate far below replacement. The iconic image of large, multi-generational families is fading. Economic stagnation, high living costs, and limited family support discourage young Italians from having children. Many delay or forego parenthood, and a brain drain sees talent leaving for better prospects abroad. The result? A shrinking, aging society with immense pressure on pensions and healthcare. Government incentives have yet to reverse the trend. Italy's story is poignant, a country that cherishes family, yet struggles to create conditions for families to thrive. The future of La Dolce Vita depends on whether Italy can be reborn. Will its piazzas echo with children's laughter again? The answer remains uncertain. Let's continue. In Greece, the cradle of Western civilization, a demographic and economic tragedy has unfolded. The 2009 debt crisis triggered mass youth unemployment and a brain drain of the country's brightest minds. Even before the crisis, birth rates were low. Economic hardship made things worse. Young couples postponed marriage and parenthood, fueling a shrinking, aging population. In villages and even Athens, a missing generation is palpable. Schools close, communities vanish. The government tries to entice the diaspora home and support families, but recovery is fragile. Greece's story shows how economic policy is also demographic policy. Austerity's human cost is measured in empty cradles and farewells. The birthplace of democracy now fights for its own future. Can Greece reverse the spiral? The challenge is immense. Onward. Portugal, once a nation of explorers, now faces a quiet demographic decline. Low birth rates and steady immigration have shrunk and aged the population. Economic pressures and cultural shifts mean large families are rare. Single-child households are the norm. Young, skilled workers leave for better prospects abroad, especially after recent economic crises. Inland regions hollow out, with abandoned villages and fading traditions. The government offers incentives for families and tries to attract the diaspora and immigrants, but faces deep-rooted trends. Portugal's story is one of slow-motion crisis in a beautiful, aging land. The nation that once sailed into the unknown now faces uncertainty at home. Can it find new life within its borders? The answer will define its future. Let's move on. Croatia, famed for its Adriatic coast, faces a demographic storm. Since EU accession, emigration has surged, especially among the young seeking better jobs abroad. Low birth rates and the lingering scars of war compound the crisis. Rural regions empty out, while cities rely on seasonal tourism, offering little year-round stability. The paradox: summer brings tourist crowds, but the rest of the year, streets are empty and businesses close. Government incentives for families and returnees struggle against the allure of higher wages abroad. Croatia must build a resilient, diversified economy to keep its people. Without it, the nation risks becoming a hollow shell, beautiful but empty. The challenge is urgent. Will Croatia's future belong to its people or just its visitors? Let's continue. Serbia, at the crossroads of Europe, faces a relentless demographic retreat. For decades, deaths have far outnumbered births, shrinking the population each year. Economic insecurity and low fertility rates discourage large families. A significant brain drain sees young, educated Serbians leave for better opportunities abroad. Rural areas are depopulated, with villages inhabited mostly by the elderly. The government offers incentives and seeks to connect with the diaspora, but deep-rooted issues persist. Reversing the trend requires more than money. It needs hope and opportunity. Serbia's greatest challenge is to create a future worth staying for. The stakes are national survival. Can Serbia turn the tide? The answer will shape its destiny. Lithuania, the largest Baltic state, has lost nearly a quarter of its population since 1990. Mass emigration, especially after joining the EU, hollowed out towns and created a missing generation. Low birth rates and delayed parenthood accelerate aging. The result: a shrinking workforce, growing pension burden, and a looming fiscal crisis. Almost every family has relatives abroad. Technology bridges distance, but not presence. Rural depopulation is stark. Abandoned farms and shrinking villages are common. The government promotes return migration and supports young families, with some success in the tech sector. Lithuania's story is one of resilience, surviving external threats, now facing an internal battle. The challenge: make home compelling enough for the next generation to stay. The outcome will define Lithuania's future. The struggle continues. Let's conclude. We've journeyed from Japan to the Mediterranean and Baltic, witnessing a silent crisis in 10 nations. Aging populations, low birth rates, and youth exodus are deeply human challenges, not just statistics. The future hangs in the balance, but awareness is the first step toward change. Governments and citizens are innovating, seeking ways to support families and build opportunity. These struggles offer lessons for the world, as many nations face similar paths. It's a global challenge demanding global conversation. By understanding their plight, we prepare for our own future. The conversation must continue. Like, share, and comment to spread awareness, and subscribe for more explorations. Thank you for joining this important journey.